Welcome to ELITETV. You're watching Open Debate in English. And I'm your host, Chongtham Amrita, and today we are going to be debating and discussing on the topic, living too long in negative events. In fact, it is true, we have been living too long in negative events now in the state. It seems that the general public and even the government have developed a habit of dwelling in and indulging in negative events far longer than necessary. Issues that should fade from public focus often linger for a lot of days, dominating the narrative for extended periods. Let's take for one example, one incident in January this year. One incident in Lamacong that occurred. It was regarding one leakage of oil that was contaminating a nearby stream. And that particular news was plastered on the front pages of local newspapers almost daily for over 10 days. Instead of taking swift action, like immediately filing an FIR and deploying a competent police officer to investigate, the response that was given was involved in forming committees, engineers visiting the site and speculating a lot of sabotage by a nearby Koke village, which continued to appear in the news. Eventually, the chairman of the Manipur Human Rights Commission visited the site and determined the sabotage, after which the village authorities promised to find the culprits and the matter was closed. The thing is that we need to be reminding at this point is that the police work that was supposed to be done by the police was essentially done by the MHRC at that time. Another example is the controversy regarding the rock music event that was held at Kumalampak on Patriots Day. The next day, there was an outpouring of condemnation and anger against the festival, against the event, followed by a barrage of accusations, clarifications, and a series of punishments handed down by various organizations. The government has distanced itself from that event, claiming no permission was granted, but yet the issue persists in the news, in social media for days and days. So it could have been resolved in a matter of 3 or 4 days, but it seems as if such kind of news need to be at the front and center instead of discussing real issues of the state. To discuss and debate on this topic, we will take a moment to welcome our panelists for tonight. Our first panelist for tonight is Pabung P. Sonamani, socio-political commentator. Oja, welcome to Open Debate.
Oh, thank you, Amrita, very kind of you for inviting.
And our second panelist for tonight is Oja and Satyajeet, Bureau Chief, UNI. Oja, welcome to Open Debate. So, Pabung,
thank you, Amrita. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so I'll start with Pabung first to set the floor. Pabung, the question that I'd like to ask to you and to set the tone of this debate today is that, in fact, even though the question that I'm about to ask is, even though it sounds generic, this is a question that needs asking. It is that why does negative news of violence and war, they travel faster? Why do we have to dwell in such news for longer than required? And it seems as if the public attention seems to be captivated by such stories instead of stories about peace, stories about developments and achievements. So why do you think that is so? Do you think it is because there is a lack of activity of peace and development in the state? Oja, please share us your thoughts on that.
Amrita, good evening to you, and my thanks goes to you and ELITETV and my colleague Satyajeet and the worldwide who are listening it. I bow my head to you. This is a very, very important subject. I really thank you for bringing up this issue. Hardly anybody has thought such kind of an important issue. You have said that exactly. We are more, overactive. We are trying to find out, particularly in this such kind of a communal conflict or the Manipur conflict, in these such situations. First information report, there is a word called in the police, FIR. FIR doesn't mean that whatever stated someone, that is the gospel truth. To go in detail investigations and to go more, find out some more clues and evidences, that is the police duty. Same thing. Any informations, either it is a hearsay or just have somebody sounded or somebody has communicated. If someone on particularly media, my most admire this department, who are considered to be the fourth pillar of this nation, I really would like to appeal. Anybody who communicates or anybody who tries to create a very serious situations that can be at least verified up to some extent, may not be possible because your time is very limited. You have rightly pointed out 2-3 things. You see, somebody had sabotaged. Human Rights Commission chairman, according to his investigations or his inquiry, says that it was a sabotage. It was not the what's called delinquent or the delaying tactics by the department. But whereas, as you said in the newspaper, of course their time is very limited, and they have published it, that created a havoc, and the society and the people and the state has gone a negative. The efficiency was lacking, or that the government was not taking care, or rather the Manipur government was brought from heaven to earth. That kind of situation, a wrong message that create a confusion. The present burning issue, that is also another factor. And of course, we have hardly any time to verify, but we'll have to be very cautious, especially as I said that the media is a very serious and a very sensitive. The matters they're dealing it in a very peaceful. The moment and the days, there is hardly anything. But at this situation and the crucial juncture, I would like to ardently appeal to the medias. Say wrong narrative and the fake narrative being deliberately published by the mainland Indian media. That also another factor. But particularly our state, they are very hardworking. We know they have got a limited. They are not allowed to cross, and they're not allowed to reach to the destination too. Whatever they have heard it, somebody conveyed that they're publishing it, but that can be little scrutinized. That can go little in the merit, according to the merit. So example, if you allow me, just 1 second, I would like to highlight to the Manipur people. Way back 60s beginning, there was one newspaper called the Citizen Voice in Nagaland. When I bring in this issue, Manipur public should not mind it. What happened there, what happened here, what happened in mainland India and abroad, we should try to bring it for the public's consumption. That Citizen Voice was only 4 pages paper, 63, 64. As a Nagaland car smashed by Assamese. Okay. Can you imagine? Sorry, Naga's car smashed by Assamese. That was somewhere near the Kaziranga, in the main road. That's a beautiful road. That car might have sped at about, say, 70, 80 speed and might have met accident. And exactly it was happening. That car was NLK some number I've forgotten. There's about 4 or 5 decades before, 6, 7 decades before. I'm sorry, I couldn't give you. But see, Naga's car smashed by Assamese. That created a problem in Kohima, particularly in Dimapur. Some of the non-Nagas people, their stay was very insecure because of that news. When this matter was conveyed and they duly verified, the driver, he was intoxicated, he was drunk, he couldn't control steering and he met accident. That car number bearing is Nagaland NLK, Nagaland Kohima district vehicle. But the message which has gone so fast that in Nagaland, a huge problem and inconvenience and insecurity developed among the Assamese people. Some started living, some started winding up their belongings, and they started by available vehicle. So that kind of situation erupted. So, no, I'm just citing an example. Don't take it. It may happen to Manipur and happening too. So I appeal that anything happens, we should not try to see from our jaundiced eyes rather than the going into in detail. So sometimes the media's news, we are really hungry. We are really, first to, and we have a trust, full trust on the media. 99.99% of the media gives exactly the information what we desire. And we have no any source rather than depending on the medias. My gratitude goes to it. But this maybe, look into it, medias particularly. And some kind of people are here who are trying to create some situation, abnormal situation, when there is a small thing which can be doused fire without reporting the matter or even reporting to the fact and the factual can be highlighted rather than highlighting it. A small thing, a spark neglected burns the house. That's the lesson 1960 which I read it. Now this is the same thing happening it. Say this to some criminal, they say Meitei people have rather killed. Meitei says that in Kukijo people they have done this, they have done this thing. All this kind of wrong narrative, and after hearing might be true, may not be true, and sometimes 50%, 100% also comes out it is a false the information. So thereby, serious situations we always reach. Now how to control it? It is by the medias, number one. Number two, by the security personnel. Number three, by the senior citizen people. Number three, by the local people. Number four, by the community people. We should really go into detail before we take any action. Whomsoever we made it, we pick up a sword, we pick up a spade and you go and chop the head. That kind of things also should be avoided. All communities, you have some enemies or enmity with someone you may have, definitely. This is a world and this is a life. You cannot avoid it. We too, we have. But definitely we should control that our sense. Some Manipur is coming, if somebody chop head, oh by God, I can't say it. I'm a policeman, we had to resort fire in many occasions, but we didn't do like that. Even we had to think 100 times, no, should I fire or not? Even insurgency encounter we had in couple of occasions. We thought many times. But today, a situation has arisen that anybody whosoever comes, first you kill, then you ask his identity. If this is the situation, then I think we are become a jungly and we are become a wild animal. So Amrita, in my first introduction you gave me, I'm grateful. Whatever I know, little I have brought to your kind attentions.
Now,
so Mr. Satyajeet,
yes,
the expert of the news, he will elaborate it, I believe. Thank you.
I'll get back to you in the next round. You indeed put a lot of emphasis on the role of the media regarding that, and thank you for that. And now I'll go back to Oja Satyajeet. I'd like to raise this issue that usually this happens in our state, that whenever there is a negative event, or let's say some kind of war breaking out or violence breaking out, or let's say even a smaller matter like the rock concert that was that took place on August 13th, for example, let's just take that one for an example, and suppose that comes out and then it was put out to the public by the media. Usually this is done for the concerned authorities to take into this to look into this matter and take action. But usually what happens is there is an outpouring of opinions from several sections of the society, including the civil society organizations, clubs, Mera Paibis and whatnot, and they all give all of their opinions, and it's like no one can be missed, no one has to be missed out on giving their opinions, and they do want their own media coverage in spreading their own opinions regarding that event particularly, or any kind of such events that takes place, that has come out to be exact. And what happens is, these opinions are usually all the same. They are usually all the same, and they often bring about a very repetitive narrative. And it goes on and on until such kind of an event is replaced by another event, and then the cycle continues. So Oja, as a bureau chief and has been in the industry, media industry for such a long time, how do you explain such a phenomenon that's going on in Manipur?
Amrita, thank you. Tamo has explained various aspects of the situation which we are facing today. I would start the discussion by saying that the people of Manipur are in a survival mode. We are in a defensive mode. We do not know where we are going, and we are in a very precarious situation where we are not able to understand where we are standing, where we are sitting. So I am saying the first sentence again, that we are in a survival mode. And what we do in a survival mode is very confusing. It creates chaos, it creates the various discussions in the public, and people also give different opinions in this particular juncture. And in this aspect, which I would say that the people also, the various civil societies, organizations, they also try to establish a certain position.
Just one interruption. I think Pabung, your mic is on. So can you please unmute yourself? Mute yourself. Okay, thank you. Satyajeet, please continue.
Oh, yes. In this situation, when people are facing various problems, there are so many societies, there are so many organizations which try to assert its authority.
Right.
It is because when the central authority, when its position is threatened, there will be other organizations which will try to establish a law and order situation where the government is not able to fully establish law and order situation. So there arises the problem of the unorganized civil sectors. And all the civil sectors, as you said, they will try to influence the media to speak what they want.
Yes.
And in this juncture, what is important for the media is to filter out the news. First of all, the main role of the media is to have a very positive, as you asked, to give a very positive news to the people. But society is the mirror of the society. If there are crimes going on, media has to report it, since it is the mirror of the society. But for the media, it is always the main role of the media to filter the news and to give positive news. So as a tradition, if you look at the first page, you will not see photographs of dead people being published, then photographs of children, orphans, or affected people not being published in the first page, or rather in other pages also. This is to give an image to people that there are other positive aspects going on in the society. Okay. And the other issue is, how do we filter the news which are coming in? Because they will try to influence the media also to give their narrative, to give their opinion. And in this aspect also, the media has to play an important role of filtering out the news which is not in the best interest of the society, and what is good for the society has to be published. So the media has to play a very important aspect in this situation. The other issue is what kind of messages the people are getting. You quoted the incident of the oil being poured in the river, then the unfortunate incident at Kumanlampak Stadium. I would divert the issue a little further, and I would say that today's children, what kind of information and what kind of messages are we giving to the next generation? I mean, the present generation, they really do not know what are going on, because even the senior officials, even the chief minister, or rather many responsible persons, they are not certainly aware of exactly what is going on. So in this juncture, we cannot predict, or we cannot say that our children, I mean, those, especially the youths, they will know what is going on. So I think, and they will do what they understand. In this aspect also, though this is on a lighter note, many people said that people were dancing. And if our senior citizens were dancing, they will dance what they know, what they learned in, they will dance beautiful Manipuri dances. But today's generation, they will dance what they know. The kind of information which they get is from the internet. That's Facebook, Instagram, where they said people of Western cultures dance, so they imitate that culture. So it is largely the failure of the senior citizens of our society to give the correct information, to give the perfect knowledge to the next generation. So rather, our generation also quite responsible. And the other issue is, we should understand that when people, the mind of the people are shrouded in chaos, and they are not able to think in real terms of exactly what is going on. And when people are in confusion, their mind is quite disoriented. And so we have to say that the society as a whole is disoriented. And in this juncture, some people have to understand, and some people in authority, they have to convey the message that a strong power is still sitting in the authority, in the seat of power, and they are doing what is good for the society, and they should not allow confusions to create. And the other issue is, when we are facing such a critical juncture, we should not allow minor issues to overshadow the important issues. There are so many minor issues which are going on, very, very petty issues which are going on. I think we should also try to understand to ignore such petty issues also, and we should concentrate on bigger issues. Like, for example, what are the futures of our youth? Then what about how do we help the displaced person? 60,000 people have been displaced. They don't have any homes. They don't have any houses. Then the income generating activities which they were doing, they have been all rooted out. So economic structure, social structure, mental structure, and the other activities, for example, e-commerce, and then hotels. There are so many, then entertainment. So there are so many activities which have been curtailed. So I think the society as a whole is not secure also environmentally and economically. When people are not secure economically, they do wild activities. And so I think it is the duty of the society and it is the duty of the government to ensure that people normalcy is restored, and those who are responsible for creating crisis is erased or rooted out. Because we cannot allow a crisis to linger on for such a long time. When the crisis is lingering on for such a long time, we have to identify the factors responsible for the crisis. And it is high time that we identify it, and every factor should be dealt with effectively. The failure of our society, of the government, and the civil societies to erase the problems have resulted in other issues, like the problems which our children are facing. They don't have any outlet, and in fact they are in a very chaos mind. And I think we should try to forgive our children also. As I said, today's generation are imitating the Western culture. They are doing what the Western culture do and what they are seeing in the social media platforms. So I think we should overlook some of their problems, and we should also understand that we should not victimize them in full media, in public. I think we should try to hide their identities also. We should respect their life. We should respect their privacy, and we should also understand that they have a future in life. They may be contributing to the larger growth of the society and Manipur as such. And if we keep on harming the life of our future generations, and when their ideas and when their intellects are curtailed, then they will do wild things. And so we have to understand also that humans are very different. Some play indoor games, some play outdoor games, some play mixed martial arts games, some very violent game, boxing, etc., etc. So I think as humans are different, their outlets are also different. So we have to understand in this aspect also, to understand the overall situation in Manipur. So I think the best thing to do is to do the balancing act at this time. The media should try to do a balancing act of providing the good news and the bad news in a very positive manner. So I think that, as I said earlier, publication of photographs of the deceased, of any dead persons, orphans, children below 18 years of age, that should be given in the back page, or very minor details should be given. And in this aspect also, we can give a very, very developing stories of or investigative journalism, news of people doing good jobs, then earning money, and other aspects when in such a crisis. And in this aspect also, we should also try to give the news. We are also trying to give the news of what other people are doing in crisis. For example, Israel and Palestine, people living in Gaza Strip, how they are surviving, and then in Ukraine, how people are living, how people are supporting each other, and in Manipur and India also, we are facing a problem where it seems that people are blaming others on political issue. If any issue comes up, somebody says it is a Congress issue, it's a BJP issue. I think at least in Manipur, we should work together in cohesion, in a very harmonious manner, and in a very symbiotic manner, and we should try to help the society and to help the future generation also to pick up the correct job. And I think the society, we have a role also. We should stop inhibiting the youth. We should stop, they should be allowed to cultivate their ideas and do new things also. And I would like to remember to mention one thing. During the British eras, they broke new laws very frequently. They amended the laws, they introduced laws very fast. But in India and Manipur as such, we are not able to introduce law, change the laws as per the requirement. For example, media law. We don't have proper media law for the digital, for news, how to regulate it. So we are very slow in that process. And so I think when we are facing a crisis, how we manage it, we should frame proper laws. So I think this is high time for the government to act, to bring in proper legislation, to bring in proper executive decisions by involving the judiciary and the fourth estate, that is the media, to help the people to have a brighter future so that they can cope with the situation which they are going through. I will end the first round by saying this.
Very good points, Oja. You mentioned a lot of range of issues regarding how the media should be pointing out such even the negative news in a positive tone, and how people when they're consuming the news, how they should learn to filter out particular news that need not give much attention, and also try to look into bigger issues that can be beneficial, that can be something of a stepping stone towards development. Yes, and also you mentioned regarding the investigative journalism that can be done a lot of variety of ways regarding income generation. Although Oja, thank you for the good points. I'll try to bring that up again in the next round. Now moving on to Papung Sonamani. Papung, we have just heard from Oja Satyajeet, and you can supplement to Oja's points as well.
Yes.
And again, Papung, I also like to know from you one thing. In continuation of the questions that I just raised to Oja Satyajeet, regarding that, there was one issue. There was a campaign, in fact, by a lot of Maira Paibis and society groups that demanded the resignation of the security advisor, Kuldeep Singh. And I bring that up because there is one particular trend that's going on, and I'd like to highlight that. So on January 19, on the January of this year, there was a lot of campaign regarding demanding the resignation of the security advisor. But after a long days of demand, the security advisor, he made a statement that he will not be resigning. And after that, all of these demands or agitations came to a full stop. My question is that if there is something that the people are demanding, why don't they commit to it fully? Why did they stop when the security advisor made a statement that he will not be resigning? My question is that if the people are committed to the cause, they will go all the way. But it looks like some of these agitations that are doing just for media attention. So yeah, Oja, please respond to Oja Satyajeet, and also please, if you could elaborate on the questions that I asked, please do that.
Yes, Amrita, thanks. In the first round, I really missed because of my, due to lack of my recollections, that your first questions, I will definitely supplement.
Sure.
Mr. Satyajeet said he is from the media. What he said is right. I fully endorse. I would also like to supplement something from my own practical and of my age, what I have bitterly experienced than to many young folks. On 13th August, that incident was very, very unfortunate. You see, that 13th August, this our Patriots' Day, people and our leaders who really sacrificed for the nation, for the community, for the world, really. As for the tradition, we had been observing with a lot of enthusiasm, manner, in many parts of the country, maybe in the abroad. Although I was in some countries, of course, I could not see it. My tenure was very short, sometimes 5 months, 6 months, and others, rather than meeting many of my colleagues, Manipuris. But some states like Meghalaya, like Tripura, up to some extent Bangladesh and Nagaland and other, we used to celebrate. Actually, that particular day, I would like to blame the organizer, number one. Number two, the parents. Of course, our children have gone today beyond the control, beyond the ambit of the instructions or the guidance of the parents. This is another very serious thing. We have become a modernized. Modernization doesn't mean that we put on suit tie normally, I mean. But definitely in the other side of the coin, I will apprise to you what in my very, very mere capacity during my last 60 years away from my own homeland, what I did and what I was, what I earned, I'll highlight you. Our parents, of course, many parents cannot afford to shadow their children to bring up in the whatever they expect it, because today's children, they need a two-wheeler, they need the mobile, they need the trouser, they need the jean pant, and whatever the other rich people or the officers people or money people, their children, what they own, what they adorn and what they do, they also copied. We also had the same thing, but ours was in a very low profile. Today's our children, if they are not being brought into the main proper way, if they are not guided properly, I am afraid our Manipuri culture, Manipuri custom, Manipuri tradition, Manipuri convention is going to sink in the Indian Ocean. Today, tomorrow, after maybe say 20, 30 years, we do not know what will be fate, except by the modern singers or the English song, those who are very fond of, particularly we are Westerners, people would like to copy it, forgetting and murdering our own culture. So we parents, we should try to introspect, we should try to control our own children, whatever the way possible. Many parents are there who cannot look after their children, very unfortunate. I feel pity. I myself, I was extremely poor man. Extremely poor man. I was in the street, my parents was about 100 rupees, one small shop, pan shop. He used to run, I used to sit there down, I know. What is called the poverty, there will be hardly anyone the way we struggle it. But definitely my parents, although he was not educated, then he read only up to class 3. One day he was asked to study English in Assam. He said, no, I hate these British people. I will not learn this English language. So he gave up. So lastly, we came out in such a way that because of poverty, we used to migrate from one state to another state. Today, in my own homeland, in the Manipur Kanglai Park, I am here. I'm extremely happy. I'm learning it. Parents must have a command and control, maybe in a very polite way, in a different way, if they want to see that their children. Today, our children, hey, where are you going? Oh, no, I'm just going, I'm going to see. I'm going to meet some of my friends. No, you don't take this two-wheeler. No, I'm coming within few minutes, gone. My children, where he goes, what he does, where she does, where she goes, what she is doing. I think parents should keep an eye. I am not advising. I am incompetent. I have my 3 children. I do not know what will be their fate. But at least some extent, we must control and keep an eye on our children. 13 August, that occasion should not have happened even by mistake. Even by mistake. When people shed tears over the tribal peoples, the Ernhui people, every people, I was in Nagaland, I was in Meghalaya, where all these incidents, all these our dead people's warriors, people named them, never heard. You'll be proud to say, Amrita, today, I profoundly and proudly I say that government of Nagaland granted this 13 August is a Patriots Day, Manipur Patriots Day, in notifications by the cabinet. And we people, we are sitting here, we are dancing, we are the Happen, we are the British language, dancing, sometimes drinking, and etc. We could see some of the bottles, 1 or 2 bottles too. Whatever the way, this 13 August, see, there are 364 days are there for enjoyment. Is the life only to enjoy, and to enjoy what should be our role? Should we not try to involve in some constructive role in this, the present burning issue, or for our future, for the Manipur people, for the Manipuri culture, so also the tribal culture. There are so many days are there. So I strongly condemn. Some organizations have taken some action or some advice. Very good. We have learned a lesson. It should not have happened in heaven. It should, even by mistake, should not have happened. We have learned bitterly and bitterly. This should really, we feel very, very upset. But anyway, it shouldn't be happening. So media can, can guide it. And we people who have learned it, and this not to blame to anybody, organizers, not to organizer alone, organizer, partially impossible. But we parents, we are mainly solely responsible here. Coming back to the other side of the coin, you kindly allow me 1 to 2 minutes.
Sure, Babu.
What happened when we stay outside, when the Manipuri culture is completely, it is not being shown or not being rather seen or not being taken interest by with some skeleton people. Manipuris live outside Manipur, even our neighboring state like Meghalaya, like our Nagaland, Tripura, of course, Manipuris are there. Assam is there. Well, they are doing it. You see, we had only skeleton people there. Can you allow me that even my children, my child, the youngest one today, he's at 25, 26. When he was 3 years old, he had to adorn our dhuti, then our pumyat, then the koyet. My wife, she is a tribal. She always own only the Manipuri dresses along with the tilak and the archer, etc. This is my liking and her liking. No one can enforce it. And that was the occasion. My two daughters, they also very young class 1, 2 only. They also wear the fanek. I also always the dhuti clad in any Manipuri function. In Nagaland, in Manipuri function, whenever we conduct, we invite from Manipur, from Tripura, from Meghalaya, from other states too. When we organize the many kinds of the functions, festivals and other, we are only dhuti clad, including that Maharaja when he came in 1992. We all Manipuris, we found very difficult about 200-300 Manipuris to receive him to or the Manipuri culture and how to receive the king. So we had a very serious problem. Only by the few people we could somehow manage 200-300 people in the Manipuri full traditions how a Raja is to be received. It is up to you. It is not necessary by the CM, not by the bureaucrats, not by the big people, not by these rich people. No. We must have at least some sort of sense of feeling that I am a Meitei, I am a Manipuri, wherever I may be. You verify it. Anybody who was living more than few hundreds people, you must have seen me. You must have seen that how the governor appreciated, how the CM appreciated our Manipuri script in Manipur. By God, this I thought it is a Korean. I said, Excellency, this is the Manipuri script. Oh, you have Manipuri script, you mean to say? Excellency, we have. Oh, you people are great. This is what the governor, he said. Are you not proud of it? Wherever you are, I am a small fry. I am a small, holding some the government's job. But definitely we try to advocate. We try to, to maintain and to revive and to imbibe whatever we lost it. By staying in Nagaland doesn't mean should I go and start killing the cows and the buffaloes and other old things coming and eating the raw like the many people does it. Nagaland some parts they raw eat too. Should I start with that, forgetting about my forefather cultures? More than 700,000-800,000 years
yeah,
of culture.
That is also a very interesting things to hear from your side as an outsider outsider in another state as a Meitei. So it's interesting to hear. But Babung, coming back to my earlier question regarding issues and agitations that usually groups of societies that come out, and again when these demands are they are given some kind of answer from any authorities, these agitations completely stop and then they move on to another agitation. So it's like they are not completely devoted to particular agitations or the cause that they have already started with to begin with. So
yes,
if you could kindly.
I come back.
Okay.
Security advisor, you see, we were totally in drama. I mean, we were not knowing exactly what was going on. The government of India's policy and the Manipur government too very overtly. She didn't come out. Somehow, the Honorable Chief Minister, I think he was compelled to spell that 355 article is imposed. Government of India neither apparently not issued any kind of notifications. 355 article is imposed in Manipur. But the signal already confirmed that the security advisor, very high profile officers coming and taking over the loan orders from the state, from the unified command, from the CM. There's a head of the government. That was some sort of a, our doubt already rising in it. But when the head of the government did not come out, nor from the government of India, so we are totally in confused. That is the reason our Mayra Paibi, our Ima, our mothers and our agitators, including me, we are the children of the Mayra Paibi, because the things are not going and happening properly. Who controls the government of Manipur? Either by the governor. If it is a 355 article, then governor C is to, now he is to, or by the CM. We never know. We were kept under the dark. What the Mayra Paibi said, what our mothers, they agitated or agitating it, up to some extent I fully endorse it. Government has not come out clearly till date that my hands are tied. I have no hand in this regard because of 355 article. So security advisor has been appointed. He will be the commander-in-chief to control the state. As my understanding, a 355 article, up to some extent, commander-in-chief is the security advisor. If the law and order fails, if I'm correctly understood, since these are all undercovered, not overt, that's the confusion is going on. Government of India should have come out. Security advisor is the commander-in-chief to maintain law and order in Manipur state. Matter finished. Although we murmur, although we get some signs, but what is the hindrance on the part of the government of India and Manipur government too? Of course, Manipur government, head of the government, when he said, when he spelled, means that was the gospel truth we have accepted. Now, security advisor, of course, he must have been advised from the government home ministry that you don't spell out, you do your duty. There is confusion going on. If the law and order fails, now we used to raise finger on the government, head of the government, honorable chief minister. We used to raise our finger, but under this 355 article, if the 352, 356 doesn't come, security advisor, sir, everybody expect, everybody know the laws. You have been attributed to look after the full security of the state. Now, what you are doing, what you are performing, what you desired, we do not know. We want peace. What the Mayra Paibi said, they may be ignorant, but we people now, 355 article is fully worried. Chief Minister and the government, the head of the government has no role to rather lay his hand in the security matters. Rather than he will be seeking help from you. If so, India government and security advisor, what the Mayra Paibi is revolting or agitating it, how can you say that they are wrong? If there is no peace, we appeal you, security advisor. You said that you are not going in. Very good, because Manipur government cannot ask you or cannot request you to leave, because you are under the direction of the government in India. This is a very crystal clear. You continue to remain till the fire is doused. We agree. But if there is killing, how you are not in a position to secure the highway, national highway number 2? How you cannot secure the national highway number 37? This does not belong to the state government. It belongs to the government of India. The state government is the state highways. So you have totally blocked. Our life has been paralyzed. Is the security advisor, and am I bringing you the suggestion to you? I hope this national highways, Rastriya Mark, you know better in Hindi. Rastriya Mark belongs to you. You are the ambassador in Manipur on behalf of the government. Sir, now you will have to lay enough is enough. We were totally in dark. Now we appeal you, sincerely, ardently appeal you. You will have to restore the peace. Now the ball is in your court. You cannot throw the ball to some other court now. You have to play the pivotal role, and you are the king of this island now. Till this 355 article, it prevails or it applies to the government of Manipur. Now that our mothers, you may consider that they are without knowing ins and out, they are agitating it, but kindly don't feel in that way. They are your mothers, they are your sisters, because they know something. There are a lot of educated women and the ladies are participating in. There are a lot of even the law graduates and the highly educated. The ladies are participating. They know 355 article. Okay. Now, if I'm correctly understood, if I'm wrong,
okay, Babung, I'll come back to you shortly. And moving on from this, I'd like to raise another issue to Satyajeet, and then I'll quickly come back to you, Babung. Just Yeah, for
Okay.
this round. Okay, Babu.
Fine.
So, also
Fine,
Satyajeet, regarding the things that we have been discussing so far, I would now come to put the lens on the government as well. This is both to the central and the state government, because, but particularly of the state government and how they have been acting in terms in front of the media and the news that that have been headlining in the media with respect to the government's activities. It is that we have seen that the government is announcing repeatedly similar topics, similar subjects again and again in various events. For example, regarding NRC, that has been brought up in very special, in many events. And then regarding the FMR, it has been like, the point that I'm trying to say is that just a few, 2 or 3 topics are being the main headlines as the main activities of the government. It seems like the government has nothing new to offer to the public regarding their any activities or any development work. So you mentioned earlier that the media and also the public can also filter out some of the news when the kind of news that they consume. And also coming back to my point is that is there a way, and how can the media curtail such kind of repetitive such news for the benefit of the reader or actually the consumer of the news, because such repetitive news that we read again and again with no actionable results. It seems like as if we're just reporting and there is not much depth to that event or to that news. So, Aja, how do you perceive that? How do you see it as?
Amrita, I would say first that the organs of governance, I think they need to be activated now. The organs of governance, I would briefly mention, as we discussed about media. I will come to media later.
Okay.
The organs of administration, if you look at the laws, our legislators, they are framing the laws, as you say, NRC, they are all legislations. It has to be done by the legislature. And I think the most important part is the executive part. The police, the bureaucrats, they are the executive part. I think each and every department should be activated, and they should do what is in the best interest of the society and what is to alleviate the sufferings of the people, to help the people, and to resolve the crisis. I think the executive has a very important role. The judiciary has also done its part. It has constituted various committees to look into the problems. But the judiciary has a very limited role. It can only give directions, but it cannot do anything. And the media also, it can just, as I said earlier, it's just a mirror. It can only reflect what the government is doing. So I think the onus of doing what is exactly required falls entirely on the organs of the executive structure.
Okay.
The executive, it has so many departments, about 30, 40, and laws can be passed. But what is really important is implementation. If you say about border, after the crisis, the government has been repeatedly saying that 10 kilometers of the border has been fenced. But what is important is, after the crisis, how many kilometers of border has been fenced? This is very important question. And I think, I don't know, and 14 months, 15 months is a very, very long time. You can fence the entire country during this period if you go on a war footing. That is why I'm saying that we need to activate the organs of administration. The government has the fund, the government has the capability, and it can do what is good in the best people of the people. Execution of the law is more important than the law itself, because if there are so many laws, you mentioned about the FMR, everything is there. FMR, the government said the FMR has been removed, but when the entire 398 to 400 kilometers of international border between India, Manipur and Myanmar is unfenced, it is porous, the terrain is very difficult to monitor, then one can jump from this side to the other side quite easily. Then even if you remove the FMR, there are so many illegal ways to go to cross the border. And what is really important for us is we have to be very careful about who are coming in this juncture. Kamjong district, the illegal immigrants, the number of illegal immigrants is more than the number of the local villagers. That is very threatening position. And but unfortunately, in Churachandpur, Kampukpi, where the ethnic alliance is similar, where the language is similar, we are not able to find out how many people have come out. They have easily merged with the society. So those are the issues where the role of the government is very important. But if you come down to the media, I would say that the problem of India is they are not independent and they are not financially sound to give a very clear picture.
Okay.
Because in India, most of the newspapers are closing down. The print and the electronic media, they are suffering. Their funding has been curtailed, and the normal process of funding, I think there has been drastic change in government policy also. To survive, the media organization in India, they need to have a respectable income. The media in Manipur, they are not about, say, 30 to 40 people are working in a very small media, but the income is not equivalent to the income of a government employee. So I think it is very important that we give efficient sum, and that is why we issue advertisement, etc., etc. And we feel that if you look at the budget also, 37,000 out of 37 to 38 to 40,000 crores that has been spent in the entire state. I mean, if you look at the actual amount spent on the media, it will be 1, 2, 3, 4. It is very minuscule number. So I think the median, if you are independent, if you are financially sound, that they will be able to work freely. They will be able to do more activities. And so when their fund has been restricted, they are not able to do investigative journalism, to go for a very, very long surveys, and they are not able to give a very clear picture. And they are now more dependent on what are given to them. There is press releases, and we say editorials, and they say process news only. I mean, ready-made news. And so the media also, they are not able to generate good. So that is bad for the society. When the media is not able to good news and perfect news, that is not good for the society. So I think media should be given more fund. There should be more independent, and they should be able to self-sustain. In that situation, when the media is self-sustained, then the people will be benefited. People will get the correct news also. And this is the other issue which we have been discussing. And this is an overall situation in the entire country. And this is more true for Manipur also. And when we discuss about the activism of the organizations, the departments, all the departments can do what is, and very good things. For example, civil aviation, we can get in touch with the civil aviation so that, for example, people living in the valley, especially the Meitei, they are not able to use the highways for 15 months. The government of Manipur and the people in Manipur, they can demand a certain subsidy for the people, because now the movement is restricted to only rich people. The poor people, they are not able to move out. People, they are not traveling on the highways. So I think the government of the civil aviation on their part, and the education also, we are not able to provide good education. Those are certain issues, and every department has its own role. For example, Tabo mentioned about language. It was quite a good news that yesterday, or I saw a news that the government of India has sanctioned a particular amount of money to preserve our puyas, all ancient puyas. And in this aspect also, I would say that we have lots of puyas in Manipur. For example, we must be having more than 2,000 puyas. I mean, very, very ancient, and we have translated only just 1 or 2. I don't know, many people must not be knowing it. We have translated just, that's a Tharo Kumbaba, that's the Royal Chronicle. That was done by the Britishers. Then we have translated the Ninthore Lambuba, that is also related to the Royal Chronicles. And we have translated a few others chronicle like Numit Kappa, just 1 or 3. And for example, our forefathers had written down so many documents. They have given us so many documents. For example, we have a book for every mountain. For example, Langol, Thangjing, Kopru, we call it Chingjai Roll. We have a book for a dedicated book. And in those books, they have written what kind of trees grow there, what kind of minerals we go there. But we are not able to translate it now, because those are written in very archaic Manipuri. And we have only we can count on our fingers those who can read the archaic Meitei Mayek and the archaic Manipuri. And so I think the government of Manipur and the people also, we need to preserve our culture and civilization also. That is 1%, and this thing can be done by our archaeological department, the art and culture department, the education department. So I think all the 37 to 40 departments which are in vogue in Manipur, they have different roles. And there are the issues like medical issue, as we discussed about the mental problem which people are facing. I mean, we have lots of experts, we have lots of psychiatrists, we have lots of counselors. They can interact with the people, and I think in this juncture also they will be ready to do it free of cost, because people of Manipur, they are very people friendly. They do lots of free social work service, and I think those in the medical also, they can do such. And the forest and environment also, they have their own role. For example, as we were discussing earlier about the we have so many laws, but we have so many unclassified forest areas. We have protected area, we have reserve area, but we have unclassified forest areas where there are lots of manipulations there, where there are lots of rooms for corruption also, where the forest has been destructed. So I think in those areas, the forest and environment, they can come also. So I think the men owners, the men, what the government can do, I think if we expand its wing, it can do so many things for the people, because if you look at the budget also, we spend half our budget on giving salaries and giving pension to the employees also. So I think about half of the budget, it goes in managing our organ of executive. So executive is very important, and we can only appeal to them to rise to the occasion and do something at least at this juncture, and they should think for the future. Earlier, I mean, they have lots of problems for even reserve area and protected areas, even being sold to private properties, and where they have been caught. So I think in this time, I think honesty, transparency, accountability are also important, and this all counts. And when all of this come together, then we'll be able to at least push Manipur little forward. Amrita, you must. We are realizing that Manipur has gone back now. Economically, yes. Our production, then even if you look at our data of GST, for example, if it was around 400, 500 crores in Imphal West, it was reduced to 200, even 40 crores. Just imagine. And in Churachandpur also, it was drastically reduced. So our productive activity, they have declined to a drastic level. So we have gone quite back, and I think we need a big push, and that push is quite difficult, and we have to unite. And in this time, remembering as what Tamo said, on 13th August, BTK Dajit, Thangal General, and three others heroes. Those we don't mention them. Jirai Naga, then Subedar Niranjan, then Kajau Fingang. They also let down their life, and so many people also died. Prajapadapasi. And Manipur, we have a tradition of remembering just few percent, but we should also remember that there are countless people, hundreds of people died in 1891. We should all remember, and they were ready to give their life to preserve the culture, the independence, rather the uniqueness of Manipur. They gave so much for us. But this generation, which we are living today, I think we have to blame ourselves. We are not able to do what the people expect us, and the future generation, they will be saying that our ancestors, that is we which we are sitting now, that they have not done enough, and they will be blaming us. I think to stop that, we still have the time, and we should push forward and help Manipur reach a destination from where we can leap forward and have a very bright future. Thank you.
Yes, Socia, very beautiful point. I think I just have one supplementary question to you, that you mentioned regarding that there is a lot of activities that the government can do, because since Manipur, since the past year, since the time of COVID, actually Manipur has been pushed back to many years of development actually, and we really need to have a lot of strength to build back to our earlier stages in terms of economy, in terms of societal behaviors, in fact, as well. So My question I'd like to come to you is that do you think that it is possible, yeah, I do know that it is possible, but do you think that the media should also put this as a priority to give out good news or positive news? Because we see on social media there is websites called Good News Movement, and they post only stories about people of their success stories, of their achievements, even very little stories that doesn't make a lot of impact, but even though when you read about it, the readers do feel a lot of motivation from listening to it, from from watching that particular news item. So do you think that do you think that we can also do such do you think that we can also imitate such kind of movements, such kind of media behavior to put out achievement stories, success stories, even though they don't matter in the big picture, they will still be the stories that will motivate some people. Uja, what do you think about that?
Yes. Before coming to that, I would briefly mention that the media has changed a lot now.
Okay.
Earlier, we were just having print magazines, a printed form, then weekly magazines, monthly magazines. All those are in the televisions, one, two channels. But now, after the boom, internet boom, we are seeing a surging of new media platforms. So I think this is a very high time that we differentiate between the regulated media and the unregulated media. And in India, we are very slow in, as I mentioned earlier, India is very slow in framing laws and educating it. So the people in Manipur, they are getting both the news. So I would mention about both the news which is coming from the regulated media and the unregulated media. For the regulated media, they are following certain principles that is laid down by the Press Council of India, and then they will follow the rules that they will not use defamatory words, and they will not put up allegations without evidence, that they will not give news based on fake stories. But in the unregulated areas, you must have noticed that in all the social media platforms, there are so many unregulated, provocative news,
right,
which may cause crisis. So I think the government in this juncture also should try to regulate all these things and put out the good media. And I think they should be funded very well. They should be provided enough money, and they should be able to self-sustain. That is one issue.
Okay.
The other issue which you mentioned is some of the medias, if they are given enough opportunity, I think they can explore lots of the state, and they can give out very, very good news in this juncture. And I showed a particular case of one during this last few days. I met a very young person. His name is Akuben Thiam, and what he did was, he's from Manipur, and he's from Uripo Koli. What he did was he manufactured, he invented certain mechanisms through which a blind person can see many things. And it is a dramatic change. It's a new invention. And it has caused a reduction filter also. It is done by Manipur. It's a wonderful. It is applauded by the whole national media also. Then the other issue which we have seen is there are so many people in relief camp, but they have come out and they have said that they are not ready to give to eat what the government is saying. That means that we will survive on our own. They are doing manual works. They are doing other whatever capacity they can do. So those are the positive news also. That rather than, because for how long can a society sustain 60,000 people? At least at some point of time they have to come out, and they should be self-sustained, and the government should help them also. And the government and the media also, they can concentrate the news on such factors also. And so there are so many things with the media. But I think at this time also, to do that, as I said earlier, it needs finance. It needs, because they have to travel. They have to travel. And if they spend a long time to do that, their senior staff, that is the editors also, they may not be allowing them to do that, because it will be financially very time constraining, and they have to spend lots of money also. But at least at this structure also, I think we should be able to fund or budget the media to bring out good news, positive news, and to so that when we have so many good news and productive news, the other bad news, they will be subsided, they will go background. So I think the government, as I said earlier, it lies on the government also. They can
Right.
increase the fund little bit and they can help the media. And when the media works good, then the society will also get good news. Thank you.
Yes, very good point. So, so moving on with this, since we are almost to the tail end of the episode, I'm moving on to Pabung. So, I'll let you finish what you earlier was speaking, but can you keep it just under 2-3 minutes? And my last question to you, Pabung, is that regarding it's the same question that I raised earlier. This is also regarding the agitations that are being played out in the media, because there are certain groups, they will raise one issue and they will lead agitations on that issue for a few days, and then it will subside, and then they will come out for another issue again, and they will stage a lot of agitations on that particular second issue, and then it will again subside. It looks like these particular groups who are leading such kind of agitations are not staying true to the cause, and they are trying to jump from one issue to another without really following through their earlier demands. So why do you think that such agitators or the leaders of such agitations or society groups are doing that? What could be the reason behind that, and why are they so active for media coverage only and not really trying to go through all the way for their earlier demands as well? Pabung. Yeah, please keep it under just 3 minutes, Pabung. We are almost at the end. Pabung, can you unmute yourself? We cannot hear you.
I'm sorry.
Okay, Pabung.
Amrita, you're right. You're right. What Satyajeet said, he is being a media man. He might not have projected so many things, so many disadvantages and other. It's quite natural. A humble a gentleman will not focus all these things. But we people, we are reader. We are creating problem. Media be given, may not be given. Media be given the freedom of expression. Yes, only media, I will appeal you again. Sometimes we see that some little inclination towards a particular favoring tribe or what I will call it, judiciously not looking into it, another side, that also we see it, that may be avoided. Please don't think that media, we respect you, highly respect you, only for the justice and bringing the highlighting to us, educate us. We learn from you. But sometimes we see that you incline towards some paper, we see that you try to prop up in it differently, and others one you cover up and you don't highlight. This also may be avoided. This is my appeal. Second thing, any organizations, I'll sincerely appeal you, ardently appeal you, let us not try to create a hindrance or the disturbance of the mind of the media people. You see, another sections come, another associations come, you do this thing, no, you cannot publish it, or you set fire like this, or we'll do like this. Sometimes we'll try to throw the bomb in your area, and we create a hindrance. This kind of things are very, very unbecoming thing. We should avoid it. We should avoid it. If media does not exist, if media doesn't prevail and educate us, that community and society is completely doomed. We come back to the jungle rust. This is my personal feeling. I have stayed in many states and travel, as I said, I speak the 12 languages. What do? I come back in my own state, I am lacking in many ways to speak in the Manipuri dialects. Of course, I'm not to be blamed. I am 82 years old, stayed in the various states and on compulsion due to poverty. I am happy I come back. My children too are suffering it. Because the Manipuri medias, I'm learning Manipuri language, Manipuri culture, costume, tradition, I'm learning it. Let them be free, let them publish it, let them express. Because media knows only three things, like us in the intelligence department. Yesterday's, past tense, present tense, and the future tense. Only three things media function. They educate us, they teach us, they already forecast that what is going to happen. Today, tomorrow, day after tomorrow. This is a very good thing. Our children should be familiarized, our children should be told that you read media daily. As I'm facing problem, my children also grown up. Yeah, they might be reading here and there, but I'm not satisfied. So, in order to preserve, as I said, our own tradition and etc., everything, we people, we have to preserve it with the help of the media. Media can play havoc. Media can play beautiful role. Media have been playing a pivotal role. We must take all the advantages. This is my appeal. This is what I understand in my the 80 years from my childhood onwards. But we must not try to create an hindrance on the media. Say, lifetime, the Sangai, the so many medias, the papers, there's so much costly things.
Pabung, just to interrupt, yes, Pabung, just to interrupt, can you just keep it just 1 minute, and we are almost coming to the end. Can you just give your closing remarks in just 1 minute, Pabung, and then we will wrap up the program.
Manipur should prevail. Media should be given a free. We people, we should try to devote how to douse the fire. Security advisor and the governor, His Excellency, we have no fundamental rights to discuss about him, but we can appeal him. By appealing it, nothing goes wrong. Chief Minister is in dilemma. Chief Minister's services can be augmented. I am not undermining the Chief Minister because it is a half president rule and the half the government's the popular rule. So we are in dilemma. Whosoever plays role, we do not know. But as I said, we are under the government of India as on today.
Right.
Main role is the government of India.
Yes,
so National Highway number 2, National Highway 37, this be the top priority government of India and Security Advisor and His Excellency the Governor of Manipur. Please look into it at the earliest. This is sincerely appeal because the Manipur is under you. Manipur is not directly under the Chief Minister. Although there is a Chief Minister system is been prevailing it now, we are happy.
Yes, and
no
thus,
other way.
And you are trying to say that there has been a lot of chaotic, in terms of governments, there has been a lot of chaos in that. Okay, thank you so much, Pabung, for that, Pabung. And since we have been discussing on the topic, living too long in negative events, and we have been discussing in detail regarding the role of media and how the media, in fact, is one of the big role players in trying to give out such news. And then we were discussing whether we can give out more positive news. And I'd like to conclude by saying, by quoting Oja Satyajeet, that he earlier mentioned, that media is what media does is it mirrors the society, and the onus ultimately falls in the government to give out, to take more activities that are more related to the development and the economic upliftment of the state. And in that way, the news reportage can also be more focused towards more positive news, and then that will in fact, we hope that would in fact change the mindset of the people on how they consume the news. And that was the program, the event for today. I'd like to thank our panelists, Pabung P. Sonamani and Oja N. Satyajeet, for being with us and giving us your thoughts. Thank you.
The credibility of media,
Yes,
please
we
maintain.
take that.
This
Yes,
is
we
my
take
appeal.
it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And I'd like to thank our viewers again, and we will be back again next Monday with more exciting topics. Until then, have a good week.